Like I've said in a previous video of mine talking about the NxUzi ship, I still don't support toxic shipping if that wasn't already obvious. I'm going to talk about these two ships and how they affect the plot, characters, and overall story of Murder Jones, and not how cute they would be together or whatever, because that's just not what this video is about. Remember, this is just my opinion and my thoughts on how well these ships would affect the story. Please don't take this the wrong way, I am not trying to force my opinion on yours. I'm gonna start off from the very beginning. In the pilot of Murder Jones, we get to hear N say that he has a crush on V.
A lot of mutual respect there, but secretly, I actually kind of have a crush on her.
This immediately sparked a ship between those two characters, and it was very common throughout the entire fandom at that point. N and Uzi seem to be forming a sort of sibling-like relationship, and people like to keep it that way, although it didn't stop a few people to ship them. However, this wasn't that large scale until later in the series. In the pilot, we get to see N and V interact a few times, and it seems that V doesn't really care about N that much. Now, this could have created a very interesting dynamic in the future of the series if they were to continue with the N and V ship. However, they didn't, and I'll get into that in a few minutes. In episode 2, nothing much changed. N and Uzi got more sibling-like moments together, and V was revealed to be sort of jealous with them, or at least that's how I interpreted it. Now, throughout my first watch through of the first 2 episodes of Murder Jones, I could see N and V getting into a relationship, with N and Uzi just being friends, or more like a brother and sister kind of relationship. Over episode 3, the prom episode, revealed that the NxUzi ship could actually be canon at some point later in the series. When episode 3 did come out, it sparked some debate and drama around the NxUzi relationship, and if you want to see a video on that, I already made it, so click the card at the top right of your screen if you really want to see that. Really need to know to understand this video is that it created 2 sides, the NxUzi side and the N and V side. Now, as more episodes came out, we got to see more scenes between N and Uzi being shifted towards more romantic-like moods, while N and V seemed to be going more towards the friendship or platonic relationship. Over episode 6 would really take a toll on the N and V relationship. As you know, V sacrificed herself at the very end of this episode, completely cutting off the idea that N and V could get into a relationship. When episode 7 did release, we got to see more scenes between N and Uzi, developing their relationship more towards romantic instead of platonic. Everything I've covered thus far has just been the very overall arc of the entire series relating to the 2 ships. To really fully understand which ship is better, I'm going to have to look at both sides and both arguments and some scenes that will support each ship. Let's start off with the N and V ship. Now, a lot of evidence that I could find just by myself really comes from episodes 1, 2, and 5. I mean, in episode 1, or the pilot, N outright says that he has a crush on V. In episode 2, you can really see the sibling-like behavior between N and Uzi. Alongside this, Uzi also has a crush on a guy named Thad in her grade, who helps him out throughout both episodes. As you know, in episode 5, we get to see flashbacks of N's past. We also get to see his interactions with V, which seem to be more romantic. Now, in episode 3, we even get to see V showing more protective behaviors, trying to get her and N just to survive.
If you free me now, I promise we'll only kill what we need to survive. Just you and me, N.
Now let's look to the other side, the NxUzi side. You can prominently see in episode 3, yes, pun intended, that Uzi is definitely developing a crush on N. You can see her angsty-like personality crumbling whenever she's close to N or is trying to ask N for help. N seems very oblivious to this fact and just keeps up his very wholesome personality throughout the entire episode. On episode 4, you can definitely see how the N and Uzi relationship is developing and how Uzi is developing feelings for N. However, on the bus ride, you can see N pulling away from Uzi when she accidentally starts holding hands with him. He seems to be very uncomfortable, or at least unsure on what to do. Now, you could argue that this is a clear sign that they shouldn't be together, although that would be kind of jumping to a conclusion, so I'm just gonna keep going. Now, episode 5 doesn't exactly give us any good NxUzi moments. However, episode 6 is when they start holding hands. Not only that, Uzi is seen trying to comfort N whenever he sees dead other disassembly drones, or when he seems to be very upset when they are hiding from the Sentinels. You could already see that she's trying to be supportive, and she's trying to be at least a good friend. Only that, but she sticks up for N when supposedly Tessa at the time and V are, I guess, judging them. From that alone, you could already see the overwhelming evidence supporting the NxUzi relationship without even going into episode 7. Now, I could end the video here, however, I'm not going to, because 1, I still have more evidence, and 2, I want to make this video 8 minutes. Now, knocking down the argument that N has a crush on V, I'd say that N sort of lost that crush when he said,
I think we found her folks.
Literally didn't even even taste that good.
V, you kinda suck.
Yeah, I'm not doing okay.
Now, I did say at the very beginning of the video that I would be judging these two ships based on how well they affect the plot. Now, the N and V ship has barely affected the plot whatsoever. However, the N and Uzi relationship has affected the plot a number of times, such as N saving V from Uzi, or Solver Uzi, or whatever you want to call her, in episode 4, throwing her up into the sky. The entirety of episode 3, creating a dilemma with N on whether he should kill Uzi to save the universe, supposedly, or save Uzi at the risk of the universe collapsing, or something. Not only this, but V herself seems to have dropped the idea that her and N could be in a relationship, considering that she didn't exactly call out Uzi and N holding hands in episode 6. All she did is say ew, and then that's pretty much it. Then we enter episode 7, where the impact of the NxUzi relationship really takes a toll on the plot of the episode. Without the relationship between N and Uzi being prominent throughout the previous episodes, we wouldn't have this amazing fight scene that we got towards the end of the episode. We wouldn't really feel the stakes being raised when Uzi was being taken over by the absolute solver, and we also wouldn't have gotten this very hilarious scene of Nori absolutely destroying Uzi. Also, the reconciliation scene right after the big fight between N and Uzi, you know, the scene where they hug, wouldn't have been as impactful or funny if they were just friends. And on top of all of that, the ending scene where Uzi sacrifices herself would have been completely useless and unmeaningful if they weren't in a relationship. So yeah, it's pretty clear. The NxUzi relationship absolutely clears out the N and V relationship. However, that's not all I have to say. I do have to give my respect to the N and V shippers. They probably should have ended up together, but the show just headed into a different direction. I don't know whether it was planned that N and Uzi would be in a relationship from the beginning, but I guess this is not where the show was heading. Overall, your main takeaway from this video should be that the N and Uzi relationship is definitely at least better built and more impactful to the series, rather than the N and V relationship. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I make independent animation content, so if you're new here and want to see more of it, consider subscribing because I'm definitely going to be making more of it. Like the video if you actually liked it, comment down below anything I missed, stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.